Well, it has been an interesting week here in Finger Lakes land, and also interesting week also for sports fans. So why don't we get right to it, folks? First, let's talk about Syracuse's last of a three-game homestand in the Dome. It seems as though Syracuse is caught in the middle with their first three games, if you know what I mean, because that's the common theme with all their opponents. Middle. Central Connecticut State, Middle Tennessee, Central Michigan. Of course, sometimes it seems as though with the middle, they're muddling through, which is exactly what they did in the first half against Central Michigan. Seemed against the Chippewas. All the Orange did was muddle through. And I'm thinking, because I was there in the audience there at the Dome, I'm thinking, oh hell, here we go again. As it seems as though the Orange muddle through sometimes when it comes to their running game. And of course, Syracuse didn't seem to know what was going on sometimes. Of course, they kept it close and they went ahead right near the end of the first half. And in the second half, did they blow it open? The Orange finally showed that, hey, a MAC team can't win against an ACC team. As you know what? It would be a big disgrace to the ACC if a MAC team beat them. And of course, I was sitting not too far from Eric Dungy's mother, Cindy, who decided that she was going to go ape, especially when her son breaks a long play, like he did on that long run. Of course, Mo Neal, I thought he was speedier than that, but apparently he doesn't have a top gear to outrun. Kind of is a little disconcerting when he was supposedly Mr. Zip, if you know what I mean. But of course, going into that Dome with the unseasonably warm weather, you thought that it was going to be hot as heck inside the Dome. They either had the air running a little bit or something. It wasn't as hot as people thought. But it's still a great win for the Orange, a 41-17 win. Because now we got the big boys going on. Because guess what? We leave the friendly confines of the Loud House to go down to the Bayou. That's right. It's LSU this Saturday for the Orange. We'll see what the Orange is made of. And I mean, they say the SEC is having a down year this year. And Alabama seems to be the one that's ripe for the pickings of the SEC. Of course, you know what they're probably picking, a little cotton, if you know what I mean. But of course, LSU itself kind of is in a down spiral, but Ed Ogeron, who was a great assistant coach when he was up here for the Orange, will have the Tigers ready. And of course, it's no wonder they call Baton Rouge Death Valley. We'll see how the Orange do. Of course, who thought that an offense was offensive? Because that's exactly what the Bills were against Carolina. 6 net yards passing in the first half. Plus, Shady McCoy couldn't get going worth a darn. Of course, they did pick it up a little bit in the second half, but still, the scoring all consisted of field goals. And Buffalo's field goal kind of almost was one where you had to do your Bugs Bunny imitation. Steven Hauchka hooked his field goal attempt against the Jets. In this one, he decided to play the carom shot. Who knew that a field goal kick was gonna Kong? And he probably went, yeah, pardon me, Doc, but what about that field goal attempt? Oh, I think you just barely made it up. It obstructed my view of Venus. Oh, it didn't obstruct your view of Venus, but boy, did you play the carom shot. Plus, Tyrod Taylor. What's going on here? I think the footsteps of Nathan Peterman are getting a little louder, don't you think? It's going to be maybe I don't know if people heard that, but that's the footsteps of Nathan Peterman coming louder, Tyrod Taylor. I think it's a matter of time before he comes in, especially when you threw that pass there that could have won the game. And Mr. Jones was probably going, "Say, what is going on?" instead of going, "Say, what?" If we caught that, that could have been a winning touchdown, Bills. Oh well, if McCoy can't get going, we're in trouble. And I mean, if Tyrod Taylor is still a quarterback in a few games, we're in trouble. And you guess what? It's Denver this week. Of course, Denver could be somnambulating this game. They could be. All right, enough acting like the mummy. But you know what I mean. Come on, Bills. We got to get that offense going, and that offense can't be offensive. Now let's get a couple of other topics that I'm thinking of. It seems as though the law that was enacted this past year in the town of Seneca Falls, that didn't set the date to keep Seneca Meadows going, was rescinded. And apparently it's set back the date for Seneca Meadows to close in 2025. And of course, a lot of the local people are going, "Yay!" Of course, after 2025, we got to worry about the revenue stream here in this town. Of course, hopefully Del Lago can help with that revenue stream. I think a few people don't want to see any more wrestling outside of a town meeting, if you know what I mean. Of course, everybody knows what happened between Rosica and Delalis there in Parker's. Wrestling and town board meetings do not mix. And we don't need any more of that, do we? And I'm going to go from that to talking about a great local business that after 40 years has decided to close its doors. Area Records and Music was a cornerstone for Geneva and the Finger Lakes for 40 years. And I mean, it was one of the last independent record stores that was in this area. But the owner decided it was time to call it a day. And that's a nice place to go, especially when you see the selection of instruments, guitars, and music that Area Records had. I've shopped there a few times, gotten a few record albums. And of course, you saw that a friend of mine, Joe Uticone, not only got himself a nice guitar, he also made the news. Pretty cool. But what I want to say is, I want to wish the owner a happy retirement, good luck, and thank you for being such a great person to the Finger Lakes for 40 years. And last but not least, I want to talk about a story I saw. It seems as though in Wisconsin, a high school is making their girls send photos of their dresses for the homecoming dance. But the thing is, you know what this reeks of? This reeks of possible discrimination. Because you know how people use those pictures nowadays. There's the things such as body shaming, which to me is totally illegal. And the thing is, I do see the schools pointing a little bit, because the way some girls are wearing things, it's getting a little risque, especially with homecoming dresses. But you know what also is risque? Girls wearing those distressed pants, even though I know they wouldn't wear it for homecoming. But they're wearing those on the wrong days, if you know what I mean. They should wear those distressed pants on Sunday, because you know what? They're holy. Well, that's all the time I have for this week, and those are my rants. Till next week, folks.